Cloudcast Media. Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We love having authors on our Spotlight show. So today is no different. We got Dr. Christina Laporte. She's a cardiologist and author of Change of Heart. How are you doing, Christina?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much for having me.
Well, we're honored to have you. Joined by my co-host, Kristen Fogel. She is the executive director of San Diego Writers, Inc., and my business partner and the founder and CEO of Cloudcast Media, Charles Parisi, who loves whenever author is on or a scientist is on or anyone that's tied to the medical field.
And when they happen to be an Italian author, even better.
First of all, I'm surprised he's not taking over the show right now. And he actually
Give him time. Give him time.
Might do that. Kristen, you want to start off with some questions?
Sure, yeah. So obviously I'm the writing gal, so I'm excited about the book. Can you talk a little bit about it and why you decided to write it?
Well, I started writing a little late in my life. I was in my 40s, and I had already practiced internal medicine for about 20 years when I had a midlife crisis. And before then, I hated writing. When I was in school, I hated writing. In Italy, we had this nightmare that's called the theme, il tema. You had 2 hours to write about something they told you to write about. I hate all that. But my passion started when I came across a booklet by Ayn Rand that's called The Art of Fiction.
Yep.
And I was just flabbergasted to find out that an author can enter a world, create characters you want to meet, and then make anything you want happen. So I said, I'm going to write a novel. And that was, of course, my first novel, which took a long time to get into shape because I didn't have any formal writing skills or teaching. So I had to hire a coach. Mm-hmm. And to make a long story short, it took me a long time eventually to get an agent and a publisher, as you can imagine, mm-hmm. with hundreds of rejections. And finally, my first book came out. It was called Dissection. Came out in 2022. And this is my second book, because now I have a publisher who likes my books. And I had so much time to write 4 or 5 books while I was waiting to get published.
Yes, it takes a while.
So for this particular book, I picked the worst that can happen in cardiology, mm-hmm. which is your heart is not pumping. Everything has been done to save it, but now you need a new heart. Mm-hmm. So if you think about it, that right away creates a very big conflict of interest because you have to hope for somebody to die mm-hmm. for you to live. So that is a good start for a thriller. I mean, the backdrop of the medical world is wonderful for thrillers because we deal with life or death,
yes,
the highest stake, and then we have the pressure of time. And so that's what I never thought of writing anything else but medical thrillers.
Mm-hmm. So when did you decide at what stage of your life that I want to be a doctor? And then once you wanted to be a doctor, you wanted to be a cardiologist?
I decided when I was 12 that I wanted to be a doctor. I really remember I was sitting on my little terrace in my apartment building in Bologna, and I said, I was really thinking this way, what is the most important things I can do with my life that I really would enjoy doing? And I thought, well, saving lives is very important. So I figured, I want to be a doctor because I want to fight disease. And of course, as a side issue, obviously you save lives, which is wonderful. You have a good relationship with your patients and all that. Cardiology, again, came much later. After I finished medical school, I came to the United States, I did my specialty in internal medicine, practiced internal medicine very successfully for 20 years. I was in private practice solo. And all of a sudden, it wasn't enough, I guess. And I wanted to do some more. And my favorite specialty was cardiology. So I went through kind of hell for 2 or 3 years doing research and this and that because I had to match a fellowship in my 40s. I mean, my teachers were younger than I was. And, then I was stuck in Newport Beach. I had a family. I couldn't just go all over the country. It was just between San Diego and maybe Los Angeles. And so I got into UCLA VA and I had to commute. And sometimes I slept in the hospital when I was on call, etc. So, but that's how it happened. But I'm very happy because then I practiced cardiology for 20 years.
Right. Were you a surgeon as well?
No, I'm a medical cardiology, but I did some of the procedures and, at least I learned how to do it. Some of the angiograms and things like that.
Yeah, got it. We're chatting with Dr. Christina Laporte. She's a cardiologist and the author of Change of Heart. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest-running community podcast. We're now in our 19th year, brought to you by the fine folks at Mission Fed Credit Union. 6 decades of doing great things in San Diego County, joined by my co-host, Kristen Fogel. She's the executive director of San Diego Writers, Inc., and I know he's biting at the chomp over here, is my colleague and the founder and CEO of Cloudcast Media, Charles Parisi. Fire away, Charles.
Well, nice to be here. I'm so excited. You're right. I do love books. So I have a question for Christina. It's not exactly on the book, but I think I'm listening to a woman who believes a change of heart, a change of mind, a change of direction is actually healthy in terms of growing as a human being. Any thoughts on that?
Definitely. If you get to a point in your life where you're not totally fulfilled by what you're doing, then you have to do something else. You have to move on. You can't just stagnate. I think it's very, very important. At every moment in your life, you ask yourself, am I doing everything I can with what I got? And I got to a point that I felt, although I loved what I was doing, treating patients and all that I just wanted to do a little more. I wanted a little more challenge. And so cardiology is probably one of the most challenging specialty of internal medicine. So I decided to go further and study more.
Wow.
Right. Well, I was going to say, Charles, before you get to your next question, so not only did you have to go to the challenge of internal medicine, I'll try cardiology in my 40s, for God's sake, but you know what? Let me do something that's real easy. Let me write novels. Oh, my goodness. Next thing you're probably going to be an astronaut, living at the space station mirror, Charles.
Well, I know there's 2 things of all these changes and pivots because that's one of my favorite words is pivot. Pivoting in life and growing. I think there's 2 things that have not changed in the heart of Christina. Because I noticed the dedication was to Peter, the love of my life. Can you tell us about Peter? Because I have a hunch this is a man who's probably embraced everything about you and all the pivots and changes. Tell us about why Peter is the love of your life.
Yes, he really gets me, how can I say? He really knows who I am and loves me for who I am. And same for me. We've been married for 40 years. He's the one who gave me the a birthday card there was when I was thinking of going into cardiology. And the birthday, happy birthday, this is not a life rehearsal. This is a real thing.
Right.
So that kind of pushed me to, although it was very difficult, very challenging. Same thing for the book. The most difficult thing, you're right, what you just said. The most difficult thing in my life was not saving lives or going through medical school. It was getting published. It was the hardest thing I've ever done. So many rejections and so many disappointments, and you had to get up, and everything hurts all the time. It hurts the same. You don't get used to it. It's just, but he was really the wind beneath my wings, So.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. I know Kristen can't wait. This is her field, and she's great at it, and writing and all that business. But what skill sets did you take from certainly as your 12-year-old going, I'm going to become a doctor, and then going ahead and getting your degree, internal medicine, then cardiology, that transferred to becoming a writer?
That's really an interesting question because I thought about it a lot. And there's a lot of overlap between an author and a doctor. Because we both need to, for example, read people. A doctor to make a diagnosis and a writer to create new characters. So where are they coming from, right? The new characters. They come from people you see. And then the other thing is the pressure of time. We are constantly under pressure of time as doctors to find out the diagnosis so the patient doesn't die. And as a writer, most of all the thrillers, we're under pressure of time because we have to keep these readers at the edge of their seat. So there has to be pressure of time. The hero is going to die if something doesn't happen and doesn't get done. And then there's also the ability to integrate a lot of little things, little clues into one sum, which is, again, in the diagnosis, you do that. And also when you create a mystery for a book, you do that too. You have little clues here and there, but then you have to integrate them all into a sum. So there is a lot of overlap.
Yeah, absolutely. Kristen?
Yeah. I love this so much because so many people that come to San Diego Writers Inc. have had full careers and then decide that they want to write the memoir, write the novel, all of that sort of stuff. So I love it so much. I'm curious about your writing practice, So how did you write this book and your other book? Did you write every day? Did you write when you were inspired? And do you currently still have a writing practice?
I really never had a fixed writing practice, say I'm going to write 1,000 words today. Mm-hmm. No, I never had that because once I was working full time when I started writing, but I couldn't wait to go home because I loved it so much. It was like I would enter my world and then hours would go by and I had no idea where did they go because I really loved to be in my world. So I, for example, if patient canceled, and I was finished early, there were times geez, that's good. I mean, in the past, I would have said, oh my God, and I would just go home and sit down and write for the hour that I had after work or the weekend. Now, I did fully retire from medicine at the end of 2022, so I have much more time. But now there is, it never ends. There's always a challenge. Now there is a challenge of pushing the books. Mm-hmm. The books are out, at least some of them. But I'm still obviously writing. If I feel badly if I'm not writing something, I really need it. So, for example, now that I stopped I was 100 pages into a new novel, and I had to put it down because I need the time to publicize my book. And I kind of feel a pull bad. Maybe I should be doing that because, it's like I like to walk around with the book in my head, with the story in my head that's forming around something. And it's just a passion. It has to be a passion because
it's hard.
It's hard. It's very hard.
I can't imagine. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I put 2 words on a piece. I used to be a decent writer. I wrote for a newspaper. Okay, totally different than a novel. I don't think I can put a creative thought on the paper anymore these days. How much does Peter help you with this?
He is my alpha reader. So he gets the first mess. And what he mainly does to begin with is he eliminates all the italics. And the italics are not those letters that look like the Tower of Pisa. All the things that give away that English is not my first language. Because after 45 years, the structure of the sentences, although I could never write a book in Italian, I mean, I can write and speak fluently, but the technique is totally different. Still, I have something that sneaks in that only Italians say in the book.
No, I think that's true. When we come back from break, I want to continue that conversation as well. But I want to talk about organ transplants and so forth. When we return with Dr. Christina Laporte, she's a cardiologist and the author of Change of Heart. We're going to chat about where you can get this book. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight in the Community Show, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. We will be right back.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream,
and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, been doing great things in San Diego for more than 6 decades. We are honored to have in the studio with us today Dr. Christina Laporte. She is a cardiologist and the author of Change of Heart, joined by my co-host, Kristen Fogel. She's the executive director of San Diego Writers, Inc., and my colleague, Charles Parisi, the founder and CEO of Cloudcast Media. Talk a little bit about the status of organ transplants in America these days.
There is a shortage.
Yeah.
Just focusing, for example, organs in general, there are 17,000 people dying every day waiting for an organ.
Wow.
There are millions of people on a list for organ transplant in general. But specifically for heart, we do 4,000 transplants a year, but we have a list of 8,000 people, and we could have a much longer list because the doctors list only people who are like on the verge of death because they know that they're barely going to get enough heart to save those, not even that. Mm-hmm. And so they don't list all of them who really need it. They just list the one who are going to die soon if they don't get it. And so because of that shortage, we have done a lot of things to actually improve the situation. For one thing, for example, that's one thing I mentioned in my book. We have a new way of transporting hearts. Mm-hmm. It's called the heart in a box. Mm-hmm. In the past, we were transporting heart in a cooler, those red and white things that you go to the picnic with. Mm-hmm. But and the heart would last 4 hours. You had 4 hours to put it in the new person. And now, instead, with the heart in a box, you actually have a box with tubes with fluid that's warm and nourishing that goes into the arch of the arteries, the coronary arteries, and the heart starts beating in a box. You can Google it, and you can see this heart beating in a box. It almost looks like a Halloween thing, Mm-hmm. And with that, the heart lasts 12 hours. So you can match somebody across the country, put it on a plane. So the scope of transplant has greatly widened because of it. But despite all these good things, we could do a lot more. One thing I'm an advocate of, for example, is why don't we compensate the families? Why don't we compensate the family or the donor legally? Because, the black market of organs that we have today would probably go away if you could legally compensate the donor. Of course, anything can be used. Immediately people would object, well, I'm going to kill Uncle Sam, or whatever, Uncle something, so I can sell his heart. But
that's not your next novel, is it?
No, but anything can be used badly, right? You can take a car and kill somebody with it.
Right.
So, but I think that if you had a good way, a legal way to compensate the family, you would get a lot more organs.
Right. Well, what is the reason why people don't want to donate an organ? Is it religious? Is it other reasons? I'm happy if everyone wants to use my organs. It probably would kill people if they had my organs. But why aren't people doing more of it? What are the reasons?
I'm not sure. Some of it could be religious, but I think it's a minor thing.
Right.
The religious part. There are not too many religions who forbid you to donate your organ when you're dead.
Yeah.
And I think if people maybe they don't really kind of think about it. And again, the consent now has to be totally impersonal. It has to be a doctor who's who's completely disinterested has to ask for consent, which doesn't make any sense because if maybe the donor, the family of the donor got a little hint of who's going to get the heart, maybe there will be a connection. Again, there are a lot of things we could do to increase. And why not, compensating? At least for the funeral or something. Not even, it's completely legal today. It's not just considered immoral. It's punishable by 5 years of jail and $50,000 fine if you ask for, if you pay money for something like that.
Right. Is the heart the most difficult organ to get, not necessarily physically transplanted, but is there a greater shortage with that, or is it the kidney, is it the liver, or
it's the heart? I think.
Okay.
Pretty sure, because obviously the kidney you can donate when you're still alive.
That's right.
You have two
Kidneys are
kidneys.
easy.
And the liver, you can actually take a piece of liver and it regenerates.
Okay.
A mother can donate a piece of liver to the child, if
Right.
he's born with some malformation or that cannot, which he cannot survive.
Yeah.
But the heart, you have to be dead. So that's obviously why. But if you think about it, we pay for sperm, we pay for eggs. Why not? Why not for organs?
That's a good point.
Yeah, Charles?
No, it makes perfect. Hey, listen, human beings respond to incentives, and a lot of families, certainly from an economic standpoint, probably could use some financial support to arrive at a really good decision to save another life. So I think it's like everything else in science and medicine. It's a constant evolution as people open up their minds and their hearts, no pun intended, to new ideas.
Right. So let me ask you this. We're chatting with Dr. Christina Laporte. She's the cardiologist and the author of Change of Heart. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. You're listening to our edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. So this is book 2, is this correct?
This is book 2 of the same characters, but it can be read completely independently because it's a totally different story than book 1.
Right.
This particular book starts with a mystery. The number of heart transplants all of a sudden is skyrocketing in New York City, and the doctor should be happy about it. But the problem is that it's going up because the number of suicides is going up. And these suicides are committed right in front of a hospital very conveniently, so the heart can be harvested right away. Not only that, but these people shoot themselves in their head, not in the heart, and they actually avoid the area of the brain that's in charge of keeping the heart beating. So the brain gets destroyed and the heart keeps on beating. So this is a mystery. Why is this happening now? And recently, a mobster has hacked into medical records of several hospitals, but they can't prove that. And so who knows if it's a coincidence or if that's has to do with it. And of course, you have to read the book with the big twist at the end
to find out. Are any of the characters Italian?
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to throw that out there. Okay.
Well, actually, let me think about it. In my first book, I had an Italian character. In this one here, no. In this one here, there are no Italian characters.
Right. So, are you thinking of book 3?
Oh, it's there already. It's coming out in October.
Good. And are the characters that were in book 1 and 2 going to be in 3?
They're going to be, because there's a third book of this series, which is a prequel. Actually, it's my original book, which got revised and everything. Okay. And the main character of this book is this private investigator, Kirk Minor. And Kirk Minor is like having, Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson in one head because he has medical expertise. And but why does he have medical expertise? He didn't go to medical school or anything. What happened to him is going to be in the prequel, which is he has a terrible accident, his brain gets damaged, and he has this experimental surgery. And when he wakes up, he knows about medicine. And that's the mystery of the prequel.
Okay, so on Change of Heart, when the movie rights coming out?
Tell me.
Okay.
Where do I sign?
To that point, Drew.
Yeah.
So let's have a little fun here. Minor and Moleville. Who do you envision playing them in a movie?
Oh, Moleville, I really would like the guy who does Reacher, but I don't think Lee Child is too happy about that. I think it would be perfect.
We got the script. She's a script writer, so yeah.
Don't put more work on me.
Well, we're really working. We don't have a script, and I do not know probably how to write a script, to be honest, because it's a totally different technique to actually write a script from a book.
Come on, Kristen. What do you mean? You're backing away from a job?
I don't write film scripts. Also,
but we're
Christina
working.
Doesn't know that.
Yeah,
we'll let you know if we're successful. You'll find out. It's going to be on the screen.
100%. Well, listen, what a joy having you on, and I appreciate it. Wishing you nothing but great success. Amazon, I imagine. Barnes and Noble.
Yes.
Okay.
I just did a book signing there.
Did you?
Newport
Okay.
Beach.
Very good. And then, are you going to come back in when the October book is released and chat about it?
Definitely. Definitely.
Okay, consider that a done
Be
deal.
happy about it.
We'll look forward to that.
Thank you.
As well. Dr. Christina Laporte, cardiologist and author, Change of Heart. Thank you so much for coming in. We're going to look forward to having you make a return appearance. I'm Drew Schlosberg at Cloudcast Media. You're listening to another edition of the Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest running community podcast, now in our 19th year. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, 6 decades of doing great things in San Diego County. As always, Kristen Fogel, thank you for being a wonderful co-host.
Thank you.
And Charles, my business partner, is sharing the mic with me. It is a good day always.
So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And to our listeners, we hope you enjoyed the interview.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.